What if I told you that Doey the Doughman isn't truly gone for good? I know. You're probably thinking we've all witnessed his final moments, crushed in a way that seemed to leave no hope for survival. But there are crucial differences in Doey's larger body form that separate him from the other experiments. And after careful analysis of these unique traits, I've come up with a few theories that might just explain how and why Doey could return in the future. Let's revisit the key moments. We first encounter Doey in an unsettling scenario, as he brutally tears apart Pianosaurus and devours its remains. This sets the stage for understanding just how dangerous and capable he is. As we continue, Doey aids us through puzzles, revealing bits of lore along the way, ultimately guiding us to a sanctuary called the Safe Haven, a place designed to protect the remaining toys from ongoing threats. It's here that we see the stark contrast in beliefs between Doey and Poppy regarding how to seek justice for the innocent lives lost at the hands of Playtime Co. "I think you're wrong, Poppy. What you want is the best for everyone." Doey. Poppy counters with, "No, this place, we need to erase every trace of it." Despite their differences, we continue onward, facing Yarnaby and eventually watching him burn to death. Afterward, we confront his master, the Doctor. By the time we return to the Safe Haven, we realize that we've inadvertently led the prototype straight to the others. In response, Doey steps forward to distract the dangerous entities, allowing us to team up with Ollie and repair the generator. Once that task is completed, Poppy insists we plant explosives as part of a plan to bring an end to both the factory and the prototype. But when we return, we're met with the grim discovery that the prototype has already been destroyed. The hideout, once a sanctuary where Doey and the others sought refuge, is eventually overwhelmed by a wave of grief and despair. Doey, devastated by the loss, completely spirals into madness. His emotional collapse is so intense that he ultimately becomes consumed by it, leading to his physical form being buried under an enormous pile of debris. This event triggers a terrifying and grotesque transformation, turning him into a monstrous abomination beyond recognition. What follows is a frantic and intense chase sequence, leading us into a brutal and relentless boss battle. During this climactic confrontation, it appears that we have finally defeated Doey, bringing an end to his terrifying rampage, or at least that's what we are led to believe at the time. But as we delve deeper into his nature, there's one particular and fascinating trait that sets Doey apart from every other experiment: his extraordinary ability to slip through even the tiniest gaps and confined spaces. This ability suggests a level of physical flexibility and malleability that the other creatures don't possess. Furthermore, it's evident that Doey is capable of disassembling parts of his body, allowing him to function as a living, breathing being despite the alterations to his form. This ability seems to defy the usual limitations that these larger, more monstrous bodies tend to have. In most cases, the survival of these experiments depends on the integrity of their vital human organs. Take Mommy Longlegs as a clear example. Once her abdomen is crushed, her life ends almost instantly as the destruction of her essential organs is irreversible. But Doey, curiously, doesn't appear to share this same critical weakness, suggesting there is something uniquely resilient about his structure and biology. A crucial clue in understanding Doey's abilities lies in his much higher experiment number, 1322. By the time his creation began, Playtime Co. had likely accumulated a wealth of knowledge and honed their methods for crafting these enormous bodies. It's fascinating to consider how quickly their experimentation advanced. One year, the company was unveiling a highly controversial toy line that sparked significant debates and concerns. The next, they were developing massive living and breathing toy creatures, some of which were capable of almost unimaginable feats. This sharp leap in technological and scientific understanding shows that Playtime Co. was constantly evolving, refining their processes, and pushing the boundaries of what was possible with their experiments. Now, shifting our focus back to Mommy Longlegs, we find an interesting point of comparison. Her entire structure is reliant on a highly elastic plastic material, which grants her the ability to stretch and contort in ways that are unique to her design. This material is fundamental to her ability to achieve the extreme flexibility and stretchiness that defines her movements. In contrast, Doey's construction seems to be influenced by entirely different materials, likely contributing to his distinct abilities. While Mommy Longlegs relies on an elastic, plastic-based system, Doey's form seems to be more malleable, almost as though he is made from something that behaves more like Play-Doh, able to reshape himself in ways other experiments cannot, adding another layer to the mystery of his creation. Similarly, Doey's unique composition is deeply tied to the fact that he's essentially made of play toys, as stated in his toy commercial. This material explains his ability to reshape himself in ways that other experiments can't replicate. But this raises an important question. How does this unusual composition not interfere with the organic systems that keep him alive? The answer likely lies in Doey's origin. Unlike most experiments, which are usually the result of a single test subject, Doey was transformed from 3 different individuals. The first was a mischievous boy named Jack, who fell into a vat of dough during a factory tour. The second was Kevin, a play care orphan known for his aggressive behavior, who became an ideal candidate for experimentation because of his exceptional mental and physical abilities. His reflexes, reaction time, and mental fortitude all tested far above average. Finally, there was Matthew, a teenage orphan who, despite struggling with personal issues, maintained a mature attitude and acted as a protector for younger children. By combining these 3 individuals, Playtime Co. effectively created Doey, likely with far more organs than your average experiment. However, he seems to be lacking in bones, at least judging by some of his movements. This could explain his ability to fit through tight spaces. He probably retains certain bones in his arms, which allow him to grip objects and move them around more effectively, something that differentiates him from others like Huggy Wuggy or Kissy Missy. This part isn't as crucial, though. When you think about it, Doey might operate on a system where multiple hearts or other vital organs are distributed throughout his Doey form, a result of the blending of parts from 3 test subjects. If he positions his body in a certain way, separating one part from another, it's possible that an alternate heart or organ continues to circulate blood, or whatever passes for circulation in a creature like him, while other disconnected organs remain dormant. These parts likely stay inactive until Doey reforms himself. It may sound strange, but it fits with the idea that Doey is the product of highly advanced experimentation, especially considering the substantial jump in experiment numbers leading up to his creation. And then, of course, there's his eerie ability to practically teleport through walls. There's a safe place up ahead. Even if it's not exactly teleportation, Doey might be able to compress his shape into such a thin layer that he can slip through even the tiniest cracks. This isn't unlike what we saw during Chapter 3's ARG, where Catnap Experiment 11088 demonstrated a similar contorting ability. But Doey's experiment number is even higher, meaning the scientist had more time to refine and enhance his abilities. Ultimately, Doey seems to meet his apparent end when he's crushed under a massive steel tube. However, it's still possible to speculate that some of his extra organs, maybe one of his hearts or brains, remained intact, enough to slowly regenerate. This could have provided the energy he needed to return in Chapter 5, more angry and vengeful than ever. What do you think? Could Doey still be alive? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and check out the next video for more.